I just got done watching tonight's Kansas race. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. Like I said, I just got done finishing watching tonight's Kansas race, and let me just say this for the record. Kansas is the best mile and a half on the Cup Series schedule currently right now. Sorry to Homestead Miami Speedway, but I think Kansas has put on one of the best shows, and I thought Kansas tonight was better than Homestead. It's been the best mile and a half this year up to date. So let's go ahead and get into the race. So really, the first half of this race was pretty much dominated by the Joe Gibbs cars and the Team Penske cars, and there weren't really a lot of incidents and problems that did happen in this race. One of the only issues that really did happen was that Bubba Wallace did end up spinning. He did recover and try to continue. We'll talk more about Bubba as well in this race. The first two stages, Kyle Busch tonight actually scored his first stage win in the evening, so congratulations to Kyle Busch winning his first stage win. That's a playoff point. Hey, that's good for Kyle. And Brad Keselowski actually ended up winning stage 2, so those guys had really good runs. Tire strategy would come into play. We saw a lot of teams, and we saw tonight what NBC was doing. They were in the Richard Childress Racing control room, which I thought, honestly, that was pretty cool. They were in that control room. It was kind of pointless, but also kind of cool at the same time. We got to kind of see what they were going to decide. Like, they were saying, stay out, take 2, right side tires, all that stuff. That's what they were deciding what they're going to do, and it was very interesting because tire strategy did come into play. Now, tire fall-off was a thing tonight because after the first early run of this race, 2 or 3 seconds, I think it was a second and a half or 2 seconds tire fall-off was the thing that did happen in this race. So that ended up happening, and like I said, the first half of this race really was dominated by the Joe Gibbs cars and the Team Penske cars, but once stage 3 happened, everything went out the window. The first big crash of the race would be between Joey Logano ended up cutting a tire coming down the backstretch. He got a little bit. Kevin Harvick ran into the back of him. It jacked everybody up. Matt DiBenedetto hit the outside wall hard. And then Jimmy Johnson got involved, and Austin Dillon also were involved in a big crash. Unfortunately, Matt DiBenedetto and Jimmy Johnson are both on the outside looking in right now. Jimmy Johnson, as a matter of fact, is now below the cutoff line. Now, Jimmy was going to attempt to continue racing. Unfortunately, Jimmy did not meet minimum speed at some point. He ended up finishing, I believe, 30th tonight, which isn't great, but it's not good at all. But he gained a few positions in the points, but again, he's way below the cutoff line now, which is a great shame. And it sucks for Matt DiBenedetto because he's had a couple bad race stretches as well. Texas really wasn't his fault with Quinn Houff, and tonight really wasn't his fault either. Logano will cause the wreck. Again, tire going down is really out of his control, but that was really one of the other big instances of the race. And then the second big instance of the race would be on the ensuing restart. Christopher Bell was attempting to block Ryan Newman, and Newman got a really big run and just shot into the back of Christopher Bell. This would trigger a multi-wreck incident between Christopher Bell, Ryan Newman. I think there was another one involved as well. Austin Dillon was involved in this crash, I think, as well. And then Ryan Preece was the big one. Ryan Preece turned left and hit the inside wall extremely hard, nearly flipped on his wheels. One of the worst wrecks I've seen in inside line, possibly the worst since Jeff Gordon's crash in 2008 at Las Vegas. This wreck was really bad. Luckily, Ryan Preece was able to get out of the car, but it sucks because, again, Preece has actually having a decent night. I said he was going to suck, but Ryan Preece honestly was having a pretty decent night tonight. It's a shame because, again, he was having a top 15 night, but, things happen in the race. I feel bad for Preece again. He was doing really good. And then the race kind of slowed down, and then strategy kind of hit in this race about 40, 50 laps ago. William Byron decided to stay on. It looked like he was going to cruise to victory tonight, but I then remember they had to pit. So field strategy I thought was going to come into play, and then tire issues began to start happening. Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney, with about 30 laps to go in the race, they ended up having cut tires around the same time. So those guys had to come down pit road. And then the second last cautionary, Corey LaJoie had a tire go down. I don't know why the caution came out for that because Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch had the same issues. But the caution would come out. This would screw William Byron out of a shot up to getting his first win of his career. He had a really good night tonight. So congrats, William, on a good run. He ended up actually finishing top 10 tonight, which that's really good. And then, like I said, all chaos broke loose. And it came out between Alex Bowman and William Byron for the race lead. Bowman was able to get back out front. And then with about 20 laps to go in the race, John Nemechek spun, bringing out the caution. And then at this point, the race would come down to Kevin Harvick, Alex Bowman, Denny Hamlin, Mark Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski. Kevin Harvick was able to make the pass with about 16 laps to go in this race. But Kevin Harvick's car had not been very good tonight. He lost the lead and fell out a couple spots. And the race would come now between Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and Mark Truex Jr. Mark Truex Jr.'s car just really shot out of a cannon in the end of this race. He was like 2 seconds back, cut the gap to a second, basically in half. And then Brad Keselowski was really gaining on Denny Hamlin as well. And I thought Brad Keselowski was going to be able to pass Hamlin for the win. But Hamlin was able to hold these guys off, and Denny Hamlin becomes the first driver to score 5 wins and with his 3rd race at Kansas and his 42nd career Cup Series victory. Congratulations to Denny Hamlin. I think he had a top 3 car most tonight. The Joe Gibbs cars are really fast. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the results of the race. So, Denny Hamlin won, Brad Keselowski 2nd, Mark Truex Jr. finished his 3rd, Kevin Harvick 4th, and Eric Jones finished 5th. A big night for Eric Jones. Joe Gibbs in general had a really good night. All of them ended up finishing top 11. Kyle Busch was a top 3 or 4 car all night. He had one of his best runs of the season up until the end of the race. He was running 3rd when his tire went down, like I mentioned. He still rebounded to an 11th place run, but all the Joe Gibbs cars finished in the top 11. That's a good run for the team. Eric Almirola 6th, Cole Custer 7th, 8th place, Alex Bowman. Again, Eric Almirola another top 10 as well. Cole Custer 7th, great run for him. Alex Bowman 8th. Kurt Busch 9th, and William Byron ended up finishing 10th tonight. Good run for William Byron. Kyle Busch finished 11th. Chase Elliott 12th. I picked Chase to win. Unfortunately, Chase's car did not really come in tonight at all. Chase Elliott ended up finishing 12th in tonight's race. Tyler Reddick finished his 13th. Tyler Reddick at one point was up to 6th. I was picked him as an underdog in this race. I thought Tyler Reddick was really going to have a very strong run tonight. The problem with Tyler Reddick's car was his car just did not get going on the restarts. His car never took off at the beginning of the run. His car was the best on the long run, but because it takes so long for his car to come in, they just never had time for the car to come in because the stage brakes were really in a bad position for Reddick. There was really nothing Reddick could do. Reddick still ended up getting a solid top 15. Quinn Boyer finished his 14th, decent run for Boyer. Boyer really was struggling most tonight, but the attrition of their night really saved him. Ty Dillon 15th, Michael McDowell 16th, Matt Kenseth 17th. Matt Kenseth ended up having an issue with Bubba Wallace as well. Both those guys had issues. Bubba ended up finishing 36th in the race. Matt Kenseth finishing 17th tonight. Not bad for Matt. 18th, Daniel Suarez. Top 20 for Daniel Suarez. That's good to see. John Nemechek 19th, and Ryan Blaney finishes 20th after not getting back on the lead lap after his tire went down. Blaney had a top 5 car most tonight. That's a shame for Ryan Blaney. Corey LaJoie 21st, J.J. Haley 22nd, Christopher Bell 23rd, 24th Quinn Houff, 25th place goes to Josh Walicki, 26th Garrett Smithley, 27th place Austin Dillon, 28th Ryan Newman, 29th Joey Gase, 30th Brendan Poole, 31st Reed Sorensen, 32nd Jimmy Johnson, 33rd Chris Buescher, 34th Ryan Preece, 35th Joey Logano, 36th Matt DiBenedetto, 37th Bubba Wallace, 30th Timmy Hill, 39th BJ McLeod, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished last in 40th place. Forgot to mention that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had a fire inside the car. He would end up finishing last, and JTD Jordy's streak of finishing last continues. This is a 4th straight race where they ended up finishing last. As that Ryan Preece might have finished last again, but this is their 4th straight race that they finished last. So that's a shame for the JTG Doherty organization. So let's talk a little bit more about the race. Honestly, like I said at the beginning of the video, this race was really, really, really good. It was one of the better mile-and-a-half races in a long time. Kansas at night is honestly really, really fun to watch. The last time we ran here at Kansas in the daytime was good, but it was not as good as the night race. And this is one of the best races we've had this year up to this point. Again, the first half of the race really wasn't great. We still saw multi-group racing, saw some good battles for the lead. The high line did come in at points. There was no PJ1 grip. Again, PJ1 grip does not need to be applied at all tracks. Tonight proved that example. So, yeah, honestly, I'm going to give this race review an 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving this race a very high score for tonight. I was going to give it a 9, but again, the beginning of the race was a little bit stale at the start. But again, the race was not too bad. We saw battles to the lead throughout the night. And honestly, one of the best cars won the race. And I think your top 4 were deserving of top 4s. Brad had a really good night tonight. Brad's been kind of a slump, but again, good run for Brad. And Denny Hamlin, like I said, he's kind of put himself back in the championship hunt. I've still got him as a guy written down as a guy who could honestly win the championship. The playoffs are completely been shaken up now. Well, not shaken up because of Hamlin winning, but because of some of these guys that are in the playoff bubble, like Matt DiBenedetto, Austin Dillon. Well, Austin Dillon's locked in. Jimmy Johnson and others. Clint Boyer got lucky tonight. We'll have to really look here in the future on what the playoffs look like. The playoffs completely been shaken up to this point. Let's be honest with ourselves. So, anyway, that is my review from the Super Start Batteries 400 from Kansas International Speedway. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links in the description below for that. And comment your thoughts on tonight's video. What did you think of tonight's race? Let me know in the comments below. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching tonight's video. And I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.